A vacation in paradise twisted into a nightmare with a single sentence. Derek, my husband of 6 years, sat across from me at a private candlelit cabana, his hands gently cradling mine, his smile as warm as the flickering lanterns around us. The Maldives had been nothing short of a dream: pristine beaches, turquoise waters, and sunsets painted in hues of gold and fire. For the first time in years, I had let myself relax, believing this trip was about us. Then, he spoke. I transferred your savings to my family's account. His voice was casual, like he was mentioning the weather. No shame, no hesitation, just an easy smile, as if he had done something noble. My breath caught in my throat. My body turned to ice. Beside him, his brother Ethan chuckled, the sound thick with amusement. Consider it your contribution to us. His wife, Sophie, smirked, swirling her wine like this was all a game. And perhaps, to them, it was. I felt the sting of betrayal sharper than I had ever imagined. But I did not scream. I did not rage. Instead, I let my hands tremble. I let my lips quiver, my eyes fill with unshed tears. Then, in the softest, most broken voice, I whispered, "Funny. I just transferred something too." The shift was immediate. First, a frown creased Ethan's brow. Then, Sophie's phone lit up. Derek's fingers scrambled for his own device. Their faces drained of color as realization struck like a thunderclap. "What the?" Ethan's voice cracked as he gripped his phone, his knuckles turning white. Derek's breath hitched. His hands shook as he tapped the screen. "No, no, no, no." Sophie let out a strangled gasp. I had been waiting for this moment. I had learned long ago that Derek was not the man I married. His family had never seen me as one of them, only as a wallet, an endless fountain of resources. Over the years, they had drained him, and through him, they had tried to drain me. But I was not a fool. Derek had never had access to my personal savings. However, they had been careless. Careless with passwords, with security questions, with their own arrogance. I had taken note. I had planned. Ethan's accounts. Wiped. The trust fund his parents had set up for him. Transferred. Their emergency savings. Gone. Derek's own private stash. Emptied. And just to add a little touch of poetic justice, I had used Ethan's money to pay off my mortgage. I had made generous donations in their names to charities that support victims of financial abuse. Oh, and their business-class flights home? Downgraded to economy. Because, whoops, their credit cards no longer worked. Ethan's face twisted in fury. He slammed his fist on the table so hard the plates rattled. "Where is it?" he roared. Sophie choked on a sob. It's gone." Derek was frozen, staring at his screen, his mouth opening and closing like a fish gasping for air. "No. This isn't real." "You love me," he said, his voice trembling. "You wouldn't do this to me." I leaned in close, my voice soft but laced with ice. "You never loved me. You loved my money." Then, I stood, leaving them in their chaos. I walked back to my villa, my heart pounding, every nerve in my body alert. I barely had time to lock the door before Derek stormed in after me. He grabbed my wrist, his grip tight, his expression desperate. "Where's the money?" I yanked my arm free. "Gone." "You have to fix this," he ground out, his jaw clenched. "Ethan is losing his mind. He's calling the bank, the police." I laughed. A real, genuine laugh. "The police?" I crossed my arms. "You mean the ones who would love to hear how you stole from your own wife? The ones who will definitely be interested in Ethan's tax fraud? Those police?" Derek swallowed hard. He knew. He had nothing left. I turned away, reaching for my phone. "You should go. Your flight leaves in the morning. Oh, and it's in economy. Hope you enjoy the middle seat." As I watched him stagger back, defeated, I realized something. For the first time in 6 years, I was truly free. "Let me know if you want any refinements or a different tone." I stepped closer, keeping my voice low. "You thought you could steal from me and just walk away? You thought I'd sit back and cry?" I let out a quiet laugh, shaking my head. 6 years, Derek. You've known me for 6 years, and you still underestimated me. I saw it then, the exact moment realization struck. Fear flickered in his eyes. He ran a shaking hand through his hair and took a step back. "You don't understand," he said, his voice breaking. "Ethan, he's not just mad. He's dangerous. I tilted my head, watching him unravel. Oh. Derek swallowed hard. He knows people. Bad people. If we don't fix this, it won't just be a lawsuit. It'll be worse. A lot worse. For the first time, I hesitated. Ethan had always been shady, the kind of guy who prided himself on knowing the right people, the wrong people. He bragged about slipping out of trouble, about debts owed to him and favors he could cash in at will. I had ignored it before. But now, unease twisted in my stomach. I masked it well. Not my problem, I muttered, shoving past Derek into the villa. The moment the door shut behind me, I locked it. My hands were steady as I reached for my phone. It wasn't even an hour before voices outside broke the stillness, loud, angry. I peered through the window. Ethan. Sophie's voice was high-pitched, panicked. We have to talk to her. We can't leave it like this. They paced outside. Ethan's face was twisted with fury, his hands clenched into fists. Then I saw him pull something from his pocket. I couldn't see what it was, but Sophie gasped. That's when I knew, this wasn't just about money anymore. I needed to leave. I grabbed my suitcase and shoved everything inside, my fingers working fast. Then, I called the front desk. Hi, this is room 214. I need a car to the airport. Now. A pause. Your reservation isn't set to check out. I don't care. Get me a car. I'll tip double. Right away, I exhaled. Good. I just needed to get to the airport, to the next flight home. A knock. Loud. Demanding. Open the door. Now. Ethan. I backed away, my phone buzzing in my hand. Derek. Derek, let them in. We can fix this. Derek, please, baby. We just need to talk. No. No way. I grabbed my bags and headed for the back door, but as soon as I opened it, someone was already there. A man. Tall. Dressed too casually for a resort. Not staff. Not a guest. I took a step back. Who are you? He didn't answer. He simply stared, then pulled out his phone and made a call. Yeah. She's here. My blood turned to ice. I slammed the door shut and locked it. This wasn't just revenge. This was something bigger. Something I had no control over. My breath came sharp and fast, my hands trembling. Ethan had always been shady. But hiring someone? That was new. I grabbed my phone, scrolling through my contacts with shaking fingers. I needed help. Anyone. Rachel. My best friend. A lawyer. She could. No signal. I ran to the window. The Wi-Fi icon, gone. They had cut me off. A knock at the door. Then, a voice, smooth, slow, deliberate. Come out, sweetheart. Let's not make this harder than it has to be. Not Ethan. Not Derek. The man outside. I backed away. This wasn't just about them being angry. This was something else, something I hadn't accounted for. I had taken all their personal money, their emergency funds, their trust accounts. But there was one account I hadn't touched. Ethan's offshore account. I had found it by accident a year ago. Derek, drunk, his laptop left open. The numbers hadn't made sense. The bank was unfamiliar. When I dug deeper, I learned the truth. Ethan wasn't just shady. He was criminally shady. Money laundering. Wire fraud. Not just tax evasion, he was working with real criminals. I had ignored it. Figured it wasn't my problem. But now, I had walked straight into something I didn't understand. My options were bad. Front door, Ethan and Sophie. Back door, mystery man. Wi-Fi, dead. Phone signal, gone. I took a slow, measured breath. Think. There was only one thing left to do. I unlocked the door. Ethan was mid-argument with Sophie when I stepped out. The second he saw me, his face twisted with rage. Where's the money? He growled, stepping forward. I held up a hand. You have 5 seconds to listen to me before I start talking. He scoffed. Talk to who? You don't have a signal, sweetheart. I smirked. I recorded everything. Silence. Derek stiffened. Sophie visibly paled. You're bluffing, Ethan snapped. I pulled out my phone, opened voice memos, and pressed play. Derek's voice filled the air. I transferred your savings to my family's account. Then Ethan's. Consider it your contribution to us. Ethan's mouth snapped shut. I kept my voice calm, controlled. You will let me walk out of here. You will let me get on that plane. And if you so much as breathe near me again, I send this to the authorities. Silence. Ethan's jaw clenched, his nostrils flaring as he calculated. Then, Sophie moved. Fast. Too fast. She grabbed my wrist, yanking me forward. She's lying, she shrieked, nails digging into my skin. Sophie, don't, Derek started. Shut up, Derek, she snapped. That's when it hit me. Sophie wasn't just in on it, she was desperate. She was more scared than Ethan. And that was interesting. I let her drag me toward the beachside pathway, my mind racing. What was she so afraid of? I decided to push. You don't look mad, I murmured. You look terrified. She didn't respond. What is Ethan into, Sophie? Here's your rewritten scene with enhanced detail, tension, and refined language. Let me know if you want any further tweaks or adjustments. Here's a refined and more immersive version of your story with enhanced details and richer language. I pressed my lips together. Who does he owe? Sophie stiffened beside me. This wasn't just about their money, it was about someone else's. And that meant one thing. Ethan wasn't just in trouble. He was in debt. And whoever he owed was coming. We stepped into the resort parking lot, and there it was, a sleek black car parked near the entrance. The mystery man from before leaned against it, a cigarette between his fingers, smoke curling into the night air. He wasn't just another enforcer. No, this was someone important. Someone dangerous. I heard Sophie swallow hard. They're already here, aren't they? I asked. She didn't answer. She didn't need to. My chest rose and fell in a slow exhale. This wasn't just about my revenge anymore. Ethan had crossed people who were much, much worse than me. And now, I had two choices, run, or make the biggest gamble of my life. Sophie's fingers dug into my arm. You don't want to do this, she whispered. You don't know who you're messing with. Funny. That was exactly what I was thinking about Ethan. The man in the dark suit sighed, flicking his cigarette away. His eyes were calm, steady, cold as a loaded gun. We had a deal, Ethan, he said, his voice smooth but razor-sharp. Yet here I am. Ethan looked sick. Gone was his usual arrogance, the smirk he always wore like armor. Derek's hand clamped around my wrist, fingers pressing into my skin. Fix this, he hissed. You started it, you fix it. My skin crawled. You stole from me, Derek, I said, my voice steady. I just stole it back. This is all on you. Ethan was sweating now, desperation pooling in his eyes. He turned to the man by the car, grasping at straws. We can get it, he blurted out. We just need more time. The man took a single step forward. Ethan, shut up. No more time, the man said simply. No more lies. His gaze slid to me, assessing, calculating. You took their money, didn't you? I smiled. I did. Ethan flinched. Then we have a problem, the man murmured. Derek, ever the coward, tried to charm his way out. Look, we can work something out, he said quickly. We're reasonable people, maybe we. The man raised a hand. Derek, shut up. Derek's mouth snapped shut. The man turned back to me. Do you have it? I tilted my head. No. It wasn't a complete lie. Most of it was already moved, invested, hidden under so many layers that not even Derek, at his most manipulative, could touch it. But I had kept a small amount liquid, enough to use if I needed to. The man studied me. Ethan's breath turned ragged. He knew what was coming. Then, so fast I barely processed it, the man pulled out a gun and leveled it at Ethan's head. Sophie screamed. Derek stumbled back, useless as ever. Ethan collapsed to his knees. Wait, wait. He begged. I didn't move. I should have been scared. Maybe I was. But after everything, after being treated like nothing more than a walking ATM, after Derek smiling in my face while robbing me blind, after Sophie helping him, I felt nothing. Please, Ethan sobbed. We can fix this. The man tilted his head, then turned to me again. You took their money, he said. But you're not the idiot who lost it. I'm feeling generous. I'll give you a choice. I arched a brow. I take the money from you, he continued, or I take it from them." Sophie collapsed into tears. Derek turned white as a ghost. Ethan screamed. "Choose, sweetheart," the man said. "It's your move." Derek lunged for me, grabbing my arm. "You have it," he hissed. "Just give it to them." Sophie, sobbing, clawed at my sleeve. "Please," she whispered. "Please, please, please." And Ethan turned on me, his face twisting with rage. "This is your fault," he spat. "You owe us. You married into this family, you don't just get to walk away." That did it. I laughed. I laughed so hard I had to wipe tears from my eyes. "You still don't get it, do you?" I said, looking between them. "I don't owe you anything." Sophie wailed. Derek cracked. "Just give it to them, damn it." The gun pressed against Ethan's forehead. "Last chance," the man said. And that's when I smiled. "I don't negotiate with thieves," I said. Then, I turned and walked away. Derek screamed my name. Sophie collapsed. And Ethan. I didn't look back. I don't know if he made it out of that parking lot. I didn't stick around to find out. The moment I left the resort, I booked a flight. First class. No connections. Straight home. By the time I landed, I had blocked all their numbers. Derek tried, oh, he tried so hard. Emails. Fake social media accounts. Even a handwritten letter begging me to fix it. Then the threat started. "You'll regret this. I will ruin you. You have no idea what you've done. And my personal favorite. I still love you." I sent everything to my lawyer. Derek was slapped with fraud charges. Ethan. I never heard from him again. Sophie left him, ran back to her parents. And me. I sat in my paid-off house, sipping expensive wine, watching Derek's life burn to the ground. Because karma isn't a bitch. I am.